In the early days of her fighting career, Dakota Duka was not the household name she is today. Yet even then, she possessed a skill set and an instinct for combat that marked her as a fighter to watch. One of her earliest notable matches, which occurred before she gained widespread recognition, was against Kat Payton. At the time, Kat did not view Dakota as a particularly formidable opponent. In fact, she thought Dakota was naive or perhaps inexperienced. This misjudgment led Kat to issue a challenge, confident that she would be able to handle the fight with ease. However, what Kat failed to understand was that Dakota's skill, precision, and natural ability in the ring were already far beyond what most fighters encountered at that stage in their careers. The fight took place on February 12, 2017. Dakota, though not famous yet, had already developed an impressive set of tools in the Muay Thai arena. She had cultivated not only speed and power but also timing and ring awareness. From the opening bell, it became apparent that this fight would be a display of her emerging dominance. Kat approached the match with a degree of bravado, believing that Dakota's lack of fame equated to a lack of ability. That assumption, however, would be tested almost immediately once the fight began. As the first round commenced, both fighters stepped forward with a mixture of intensity and caution. Dakota used her long frame to her advantage, establishing distance while delivering rapid taps and body kicks to keep Kat on the perimeter. Her strategy was clear: maintain control, dictate the pace, and capitalize on openings with precise strikes. Kat attempted to close the distance, hoping to negate Dakota's reach and impose her own style. Each time she advanced, however, Dakota's sharp timing and accurate knee strikes from the clinch forced her backward. Kat quickly realized that this fight was not going to unfold according to her expectations. Observers could see that Dakota's movement in the ring was both deliberate and fluid. She employed her long legs to deliver push kicks from various angles, and when opportunities arose, she would follow up with knees that exploited openings in her opponent's defense. Her ability to combine striking with strategic movement allowed her to control the ring and dictate the terms of engagement. Kat, despite her initial confidence, found herself reacting rather than initiating, forced to weather an early storm of precision attacks. Dakota's combination of a stiff hand behind a high kick and well-placed body shots showcased her growing dominance and technical proficiency. As the round progressed, Dakota's timing sharpened even further. She began to cut off Kat's movement, landing clean strikes that gradually drained her opponent's confidence. Even experienced observers of the sport could see the meticulousness of Dakota's approach. She did not simply attack; she measured her strikes, timed her combinations, and applied pressure in a calculated fashion. Then came the decisive moment of the fight. Dakota launched a crushing left body kick that landed perfectly, sending Kat to the canvas. The referee began the count as Kat clutched her ribs in obvious pain. Showing determination, she rose at the count of 8, but the toll on her body was evident. Dakota, recognizing an opportunity to finish the contest, pressed forward relentlessly, landing another series of knees and kicks. Ultimately, the referee had to intervene, awarding Dakota a first-round TKO victory. This fight, while brief, revealed several key aspects of Dakota's fighting style that would come to define her career. First, her ability to combine distance control, timing, and precision allowed her to dominate opponents who underestimated her. Second, her technical skill in delivering body shots, particularly with her kicks and knees, proved to be a reliable path to victory. Finally, even early in her career, she displayed a level of composure and strategic thinking that distinguished her from other fighters. This match against Kat Payton, though perhaps overlooked at the time due to Dakota's relative anonymity, was a clear signal of the fighter she was becoming. Not long after this, Dakota faced another opponent, Katia Pinto, in a match that further demonstrated her growing prowess. This fight occurred on June 25, 2016, during the Machines on Fire event in the United Kingdom. Similar to Kat Payton, Katia approached the fight under the assumption that Dakota was inexperienced or lacking notoriety and therefore a manageable opponent. However, what Katia did not anticipate was the level of skill, endurance, and strategic acumen that Dakota already possessed. From the opening round, Dakota set a measured pace, using her rangy frame and long limbs to establish control. Her jabs and kicks kept Katia at a distance, while Dakota carefully observed her opponent's tendencies and weaknesses. In this early stage of the fight, Katia tried to establish herself by using traditional Muay Thai techniques, aiming to set the rhythm with deep kicks. Dakota, taller and more rangy, countered with sharp leg kicks and quick combinations designed to assert dominance. Her strategy focused on dictating the pace, pressuring Katia without overcommitting, and landing precise strikes whenever openings appeared. The first round set the tone for the rest of the fight. Dakota's accuracy and timing provided her with a consistent advantage. Katia landed counters occasionally, but Dakota's superior speed and reach allowed her to control the exchanges effectively. As the fight moved into the second round, Dakota began to find her rhythm more clearly. Her movement became sharper, and she integrated a combination of straight punches followed by body kicks, keeping Katia constantly adjusting. Katia showed resilience, landing some effective counters, but Dakota's ability to mix strikes fluidly gave her the upper hand. Clinch exchanges began to play a decisive role in this round. Dakota, demonstrating her versatility, locked Katia into close-range engagements, driving knees to the body while maintaining control of her opponent's posture. Katia attempted to respond with elbows and inside fighting techniques, but Dakota's clinch dominance minimized the effectiveness of those attacks. By the third round, the fight became more competitive. Katia pressed forward aggressively, attempting to disrupt Dakota's rhythm and regain momentum. She landed low kicks and a clean right hand, momentarily creating a sense that she might shift the fight in her favor. Nevertheless, Dakota remained composed. She used her long legs to deliver teeps to the midsection and well-timed roundhouse kicks that kept Katia on the defensive. The exchanges were intense, but Dakota's output remained higher and her technique cleaner. Her ability to combine punches with kicks and transitions into knees in the clinch allowed her to maintain control, gradually wearing down her opponent while conserving her own energy. As the fight entered the later rounds, Dakota's technical advantage became increasingly evident. She continued to mix her striking seamlessly, delivering combinations that flowed naturally from punches into kicks and then into knees. Her clinch game remained a critical factor, preventing Katia from establishing consistent offense while Dakota landed precise strikes to the ribs and midsection. Katia's pace began to slow under the consistent pressure, and although she displayed grit and determination, it became clear that Dakota was the superior fighter in terms of strategy, output, and control. The final round saw both fighters giving their all. Katia, aware she needed a strong finish, launched aggressive attacks, throwing heavy shots and attempting to break Dakota's composure. Dakota, however, defended intelligently and countered with even cleaner strikes. Her precision and timing allowed her to capitalize on openings without overextending, and she continued to pepper Katia with knees in the clinch, reinforcing her dominance. By the end of the fifth round, Dakota had clearly outperformed her opponent. The judges awarded her a unanimous decision victory, confirming that her technical striking, clinch control, and sustained output had earned her the win without the need for a knockout. Both of these early fights, against Kat Payton and Katia Pinto, were more than just victories. They were demonstrations of Dakota Duka's emerging mastery in Muay Thai and combat sports more broadly. Even at this early stage, she exhibited qualities that would define her career: precision, strategic thinking, composure, and a willingness to capitalize on every opportunity. Her ability to dictate the pace, control the distance, and deliver strikes with consistency made her a formidable opponent, even before she achieved fame. Analyzing Dakota's performances in these fights reveals several critical aspects of her development as a fighter. First, her use of range and reach allowed her to keep opponents at bay, controlling when and where exchanges occurred. Second, her body strikes, particularly her use of kicks and knees, demonstrated an understanding of how to break down opponents methodically, targeting areas that would reduce mobility and confidence. Third, her clinch work showed an early aptitude for close-range fighting, an essential skill in Muay Thai and mixed martial arts. Finally, her composure under pressure, combined with a high work rate and sharp timing, gave her an edge over opponents who underestimated her abilities. These fights also underscore an important lesson in combat sports. Fame or notoriety does not necessarily correlate with skill. Both Kat Payton and Katia Pinto assumed that Dakota's lack of widespread recognition implied a lack of ability. Their misjudgment proved costly. Dakota's technical skill and strategic thinking allowed her to exploit openings, maintain control, and secure decisive victories. These early career experiences not only bolster her confidence but also signaled to the broader fighting community that Dakota Duka was a rising talent with serious potential. It is also worth noting the psychological dimension of these fights. Dakota's opponents came into the ring with confidence, underestimating her based on appearance or reputation. Dakota's ability to remain focused, capitalize on every opening, and impose her strategy demonstrated mental toughness that would serve her well throughout her career. Fighting is not only a test of physical ability but also of mindset, and Dakota's early performances showcased her capacity to handle both elements with remarkable skill. Over time, these victories laid the foundation for Dakota's rise in combat sports. Her early dominance in Muay Thai helped build a reputation for precision striking, effective clinch work, and tactical intelligence. Fans and observers began to recognize that she possessed the qualities necessary to become a champion: skill, determination, adaptability, and a relentless work ethic. The technical proficiency displayed in these matches also provided valuable lessons that Dakota would carry into future fights, refining her approach and continuously evolving as a fighter. The broader context of Dakota's career highlights the significance of these early matches. They were not merely stepping stones. They were moments that shaped her trajectory. Fighters often face challenges where opponents underestimate them, and success in these situations requires a combination of skill, preparation, and mental acuity. Dakota's performances against Kat Payton and Katia Pinto exemplify this dynamic. She seized the moment, demonstrated her talent, and earned victories that would propel her forward in the sport. In addition to technical skill, Dakota's physical attributes contributed to her early success. Her long limbs allowed her to strike from distances that were difficult for opponents to reach. Her flexibility enabled high kicks and diverse angles of attack, while her conditioning allowed her to maintain a high pace throughout multiple rounds. When combined with strategic acumen and timing, these attributes made Dakota an exceptionally difficult opponent to overcome. Moreover, Dakota's fighting style displayed adaptability. She adjusted her approach based on her opponent's tendencies, switching between long-range striking and close-range clinch engagements seamlessly. This flexibility prevented opponents from predicting her actions, creating openings that she could exploit. Her ability to read and respond to situations in real time is a hallmark of elite fighters, and even in these early matches, Dakota exhibited this capability consistently. By the conclusion of these fights, Dakota Duka had clearly established herself as more than just a promising prospect. She was a fighter with the technical skill, physical capability, and mental fortitude necessary to compete at high levels. Her victories were decisive, demonstrating not only her ability to win but also her capacity to dominate. Each fight served as a building block, contributing to her development, confidence, and growing reputation within the combat sports community. Looking back, it is evident that these early victories were critical in shaping Dakota's career. They provided her with invaluable experience, reinforced her confidence, and showcased her potential to a wider audience. While fame and recognition would come later, these matches were proof that Dakota possessed the skill, determination, and strategic insight to succeed at the highest levels. Dakota's journey from these early fights to becoming a recognized figure in combat sports illustrates a universal truth about competitive disciplines. Success is earned through a combination of preparation, skill, and seizing opportunities when they arise. Her ability to dominate opponents who underestimated her speaks to her innate talent, rigorous training, and unwavering focus. Fans, coaches, and fellow fighters would eventually recognize that Dakota Duka was a force to be reckoned with, and these early contests were the first concrete demonstrations of that reality. In sum, the fights against Kat Payton and Katia Pinto highlight Dakota Duka's emergence as a formidable Muay Thai competitor. They demonstrate her ability to control the pace, exploit weaknesses, and maintain composure under pressure. Dakota's early victories reflect a combination of physical skill, strategic intelligence, and mental toughness that would continue to define her career. Even before gaining fame, Dakota had already begun to leave a mark in the fighting world, signaling the arrival of a future star. Her performances in these bouts were not merely wins, they were statements. They announced that Dakota Duka was capable, precise, and destined for greater achievements in the world of combat sports. The story of these fights is not only about victories, it is also about potential, preparation, and the emergence of a champion. Dakota's ability to dominate early opponents revealed both her talent and her mindset, a focus on continuous improvement, strategic thinking, and exploiting every opportunity. Her combination of physical gifts, technical skill, and mental fortitude positioned her as a rising force, laying the foundation for the success she would achieve in subsequent years. These early battles, though perhaps overlooked at the time, remain critical milestones in understanding Dakota Duka's journey and the qualities that make her one of the most impressive fighters in contemporary combat sports. By examining the strategies, techniques, and psychological dimensions of these fights, it becomes clear why Dakota was able to achieve such decisive victories early in her career. Her precision striking, control of distance, and effective use of the clinch all played crucial roles in her success. Additionally, her ability to maintain composure, execute game plans, and adapt to opponents' tactics highlighted her intelligence and versatility as a fighter. These traits, combined with her determination and relentless work ethic, ensured that Dakota would continue to rise within the ranks of combat sports. Looking forward, these early experiences foreshadowed Dakota's eventual impact on the sport. Her performances demonstrated the potential for dominance that would later become fully realized, inspiring fans and establishing her as a formidable competitor. As she progressed through her career, the lessons learned from these early fights, about timing, control, and strategic execution, remained fundamental to her approach. Dakota's journey is a testament to the value of early preparation, resilience, and seizing opportunities even before widespread recognition. In conclusion, the fights against Kat Payton and Katia Pinto provide a window into the formative stages of Dakota Duka's career. They illustrate her technical skill, mental toughness, and strategic acumen, all of which contributed to her early successes. These victories were not just moments of triumph, they were indicators of a fighter with exceptional potential. Dakota's ability to control fights, exploit weaknesses, and maintain composure under pressure established her as a rising star in Muay Thai and combat sports more broadly. These matches, though early and perhaps modest in terms of public attention, remain defining moments in understanding the trajectory and development of one of the most talented fighters of her generation. From her early triumphs to her continued dominance, Dakota Duka's journey is a story of skill, determination, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Her early fights serve as a reminder that talent combined with preparation, strategy, and mental resilience can overcome any underestimation and set the stage for future greatness. Dakota's legacy, already evident in these formative bouts, continues to grow, inspiring fans and fighters alike, while demonstrating that the path to mastery is built on a foundation of discipline, intelligence, and unwavering focus.